Hey everybody, Scout Crafter here again. It's Friday. Thought I'd take you outside. It's not bad. It's about 50 degrees out. Look, nice sunny day. Nice blue sky. Can you see that? So everything's looking good. Let's get downstairs and see what we can do today. I got some good news coming. Hey, we're down the shop, and I know what you're thinking. You're saying, okay, what's the good news? We're dying for some good news. It's been a while, and we could use some. Well, I've been racking my brains about thinking about the next challenge for us. And, you know, my last the last two suggestions really weren't challenges. That was the short-handled hammer and the modified screwdriver. Those were just suggestions that I was hoping that you would take advantage of because they're good for the shop. But this is a real official challenge. And it's something to get us into the shop and things. And my challenge today was to make a tool tote. Now, if you're not familiar with a tool tote, it's a small carrier for tools of if you have to go for a job, you know, or whatever. You're going into the backyard, you're going upstairs, you're going into the front porch or something. You got to bring a couple tools. You throw them in a tool tote, and you do your job or whatever. Now, obviously, the best part about tool totes is there's so many different types that you can make. There's you look it up on Google, and there are just hundreds of different of really nice designs, and there are really simple designs. Not only that, it's a great gift, and you'll see here's one I made for my girlfriend. Years ago, I made, and she puts, you know, flowers, things like that in it. And it's, I'm telling you, you can use it. It has 100 uses. It's a great thing, and it's a good reason to get in the shop. So we're going to knock one out today just to show you how easy it is. It won't be my entry, but this is for those of you new to woodworking. It's a great opportunity to try something different. For those of you that are good at woodworking, which a lot of you are, this is a way to show your real skills, okay? So we'll get to that in a little while. And the first thing I want to show you is a couple things that came in the mail, and I want to share with you. Okay, first up, I didn't present this last week because I wanted to finish the book before I presented it, and I'm not quite finished yet. But a good friend of the show, you know, Dean Collins. Now, Dean, most famous for sending in my famous flag in front of the house that I love so much. Dean sent that over, and I'm in loving that. And Dean has he's the heart of Route 66 Auto Museum in Oklahoma. He does a lot of volunteer work there, and he sent this over here, and it's a history of the screwdriver and the screw. Very interesting because it really dates back, and it tells all about the history of the screwdriver and what it was, and the screws and where they came from and what they were used for. And so it's a really good read. I'm enjoying this. Dean, thanks so much. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I just wanted to, I really want to do a review on the book, but it's hard for me to get through it because I got so many other things going on. And let me show you something else. Okay, next up, I got a package, a lovely package from a good friend, Jim. Jim runs a channel called Hand Tool Restoration, and he's over there in the UK. And as you know, if you aren't already subscribed, Jim does more restorations than anybody else, I think, on YouTube. Jim knocks them out. He always gets tool hoards, things like that. It's a lot. He's always had great content. He sent these over a while back, and what's really interesting is these are all miniature tools, as you could see, you know, but these are really nicely made. Like you have this this beautiful like drill press vise. That's a working vise. You know, this is an actual working vise. It's not, it's kind of heavy for its size, but somebody made this and really nice job on this one. Also, look at this here. You know how I love auto wrenches. And look at this one here. It says PML on there, but again, a working auto wrench. And look how small that is, huh? It's with a little screwdriver on the end. That's just beautiful, isn't it? And he sent some spanners. Now, these are King Dick spanners, and, you know, they're big over there in the UK, but we don't see them too much here in the States. But these are no joke. Now, we have ignition wrenches here in the States, and they usually come, Sears makes them, things like that. But this one here, chrome vanadium, you know, so these aren't no joke. But my favorite, and these are all beautiful, but look at these here. These two are, I like them because of the font on here. Look at what it says here. Terry's Spanners. Look at that. made in England, tempered steel. I love that. And look, they even did it here with the small one, Terry's Spanners. I love when they took the time to stamp out. I mean, think about it. They had to make different stamps for each size wrench they made. Just beautiful. This isn't laser engraved or none of that crap they have today. This, they had to actually make a punch, which is a big undertaking to do for tools, but really like that. Really nice. Jim, thanks so much. Much appreciated. Check out Jim's channel. Great content, great guy. Okay, so like I said, I wanted to knock out a tool tote because I want you to see how much fun they are, how easy they are to make. And the first thing that you're going to have to do is decide what kind of handle that you're going to make and you're going to use. Now, when I go on my nightly walks, if I see an old mop or something thrown out in the garbage, I grab the broomstick. I grab the stick. If it's a wooden stick, I'll grab it, come home, cut the mop head off, throw the mop head in my neighbor's yard, and then I will take the broomstick and save it up here. Let me show you. I got a few hanging out in the rafters up here. Now, if you have a basement shop, you have rafters. These are the rafters, the floor beams, right? In between the floor beams, now, I know my buddy Reggie's laughing because we have to use every bit of space we have. Up here is where you keep all kinds of metal stock, and I have all kind of aluminum stock, and you name it. It's been up here for years, and you know, over here, you know what these are? These are the windshield wipers, the inserts if you want to make like lock picks or something or things like that. This is where you keep all the stuff that you don't usually use. I know this is kind of crazy, right? Let me show you some of the broomsticks. Okay, with the other end of the basement now. Okay, ski poles. You never know when you need a ski pole. It's kind of the aluminum thing. You see these broomsticks? You know, you laugh. You say, well, what are you going to do? These all come in handy when you got to do a small project. Even the old plunger sticks or something. It's kind of dusty up there, but... So we're going to grab one of those to make our little box. Now look at this beauty. This was found in the trash. I don't even know what this is from because it's kind of rounded. Oh, here, this was cut off of something. So obviously it was off of something. But see, this is the kind of thing you find and you grab. And it's nice straight grain wood. Now, if you don't have one of these that you find or something, you can always go to Home Depot. And you could buy a length of doweling. You know, that's the first thing you'd have to do is you figure out what kind of handle you're going to make. You can also turn one on the lathe. You could buy a lathe just for this project, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Now we have to decide how long we're going to make the box. But before we do that, we're going to figure out what size box, how long we want to make. Next thing you're going to need is something for the sides of the box. And I like to use something thin, but you can use anything you want. But there's not a lot of pressure on the sides of the box. There is on the bottom, but not so much the sides. And so you can use, I like to use thin plywood. Again, this is scrap. This is actually from a shipping crate that somebody was throwing out. Again, nice piece of ply. And lastly, you need a plank, some kind of scrap wood or something that you could, again, this was a piece of shelving I found. So let's start cutting this up. I'm not making any plans. They're all in my head. Let's have some fun. Here we are over at the table saw. You know, I bought this table saw when I was a kid. I was just getting into woodworking. I was in my mid-20s. It's got to be 30 years old, Craftsman. I remember when I bought this, it was a lot of money back then, you know. It was maybe in the 80s or something like that. And yeah, I bought this. I bought radios. I wanted to... Remember Norm, New Yankee Workshop? I said, I want to do that. So I went out and bought, and I bought the best I could afford, you know, which at the time was this. So it's always good to have a cast iron surface of some, or a flat surface to build. Anytime you're doing any woodworking or anything, you need some flat surface in the shop. If you have a workbench that's all wavy, you know, it's going to make it that much harder to get your projects decent. But okay, let's talk about this wood selection. Now, you can see this is a found piece of wood here that I found on my walk. And you can see at the one end here was sitting in obviously some water and it was drawn up. So we're going to have to cut that off. So when you're selecting a piece of wood, and you know, I have some really nice straight grain wood that I save for certain projects, you know, when I'm gonna, maybe when I do my own submission for this contest. But for now, for just showing you, I want to show you what we have here. Now, here is a typical piece of, you know, kind of low grade lumber that you might find. And the reason it's called low grade, or it's not considered select, is because it has knots. And knots are always a problem, not just for cutting through, but also for drilling or putting a screw into. And a lot of times they might move, they might pop out. So you want to keep the knots close to the middle of the work. You don't want to have them on the edge, or something like this one here could be a problem. But again, like I said, we're just doing this as scrap. But what we do is we're going to select a couple pieces of this wood and cut off any, we got a big divot there. We're going to cut off anything that we can't see that's a little bit, you know, not so desirable. One last thing you want to see is if your wood has any issues, like any twists or bends or anything, because you're going to work it into the project. So now we can see this wood has a little bow on this side and a cup on this side, like this. And you can tell when you lay it on something flat, if you touch the two ends, see what's happening? Whereas if you lay it this way and you touch those two ends, it don't move. So, you know, keep that in mind on the way you want to build your project. Now here's an old piece of wood that we're cutting, but look over here. You see this here? That's called sapwood. You can see it here and you can feel it. It's a little sticky, but when you smell it, oh God, that smells so good. It's such a beautiful smell of pine. If you don't know what a pine tree smells like, it's just one of the most glorious smells in nature. And there it is. You know, this little piece here is just worth cutting a piece off just to hang up next to your chair, and you can take a sniff every once in a while. Okay, you know, this is very relaxing, and you're going to see, you're going to have a great time making this. Now, what we did is first of all, you got to make sure that the sides are the same width as the bottom, okay? So that's no problem. You just set your fence, you run everything through, or you could use the same board and cut off each end. So we have the same size. Now what we did is we just tape it off the end. We're going to smooth this around here on the belt sander, just make it nice. But now you can see one end goes on here, one end goes on the other. And all you do is you put these two together like this, okay? Match them up. And then you drill I used a spade bit, 7/8 spade bit, and that's where your dowel or whatever you're using is going to pass through. So now we're going to screw these on. And when we fasten these, we're going to fasten them like this, okay? Like this, because you want your pin fastener, whatever you're using, whether it be nails or screws, to go in this way, okay? Because the weight of the tools is going to be pushing this way. If you put it like this, the weight of the tools might want to pull that out of the end grain. So we're going to go from here in. So that's to remember. And this is where it gets fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay, what I like to do is before I nail it, I glue and clamp it. You see those clamps there? We have them resting on the clamps here. And everything's nice and square. And now we're going to have it, it's under high pressure. Give it about an hour and a half to set up before we put some screws or nails, depending on what we feel like. You don't have to worry about too much the strength, because the sides add a tremendous amount of strength to the box. I've never seen one of these fail. So let's go up, have lunch, and come back. $1 at the Dollar Tree store. These are sold as doormats. Great buy. Now you know my favorite part. Remember what this tool tote looked like before we started. And we're calling this project done. This was a lot of fun. If you think the birdhouse is fun, this is going to blow you away. You're going to have such a good time making this thing. But there's so many different variants you can make. Let me show you what we did here. Obviously, we put a little sliding sliding drawer in, and I did it with a plexiglass bottom, so not only could you see through it, see what's in the bottom, but it also slides better without having any kind of friction on here. And then you could see here, we stained it with a little amber shellac. And for the pole here, for the handle, I'm going to change this handle, but this is just a prototype handle. This is pretty cool, right? Because now you have your handle here, right? But if you see here, if you flip this up, this little section here, if you flip that up, you could pull the handle out and it becomes a 32-inch yardstick, you know, so to speak. These are 1-inch increments, so you could do some measuring. And then when you're finished doing your measuring or whatever you have to, put it back in, flip this over, and Bob's your uncle. Now, here's one of the really cool parts of this. Check this out. First time seen. That's right. The Scout Crafter Patina Patrol from Tom over at T-Rex. How cool is that? And there's a little stopper washer so that the rod don't come out. But this is just a couple day build. You know, we're kind of short for time here. We don't have a lot of time, but it just goes to show you. And look, with the carpet in here, with that nice carpet, we cut them with the Pexto snippers that we restored here, but it cuts like butter. And so pick that up at Dollar Tree for $1, and you could line your box. But this is a lot of fun, and you're going to have a blast doing it. So in closing, special thanks to Tom over at T-Rex Customs, and congratulations. Tom just increased his family by 1. His daughter got married, and now he has a son-in-law. Congratulations, Tom. It looked like a beautiful ceremony, and congratulations to your daughter and your new son-in-law. As far as this challenge goes, the due date will be February 15th. That is the day after Valentine's Day, so you have a month to get this done. I would really like to see us push the limit on this one. You know, if any of you, look, we have so many talented guys out there, and you saw that from the Birdhouse Challenge, but let's really do this one over the top. Let's see what kind of innovations you could do to the tool caddy or tool tote. And, you know, let's make it pretty special. If some of you guys are into sheet metal, whatever, let's do it up. And like I said, you have a month to do it. So that's the next challenge I'm putting out. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.